this is a movie star that we have on the air.
Yes, it is.
A real live movie star.
From the best golf movie ever made.
Yes, I would agree with that assessment. From Caddyshack, now, out of all the stars...
Cindy Morgan.
Now, of all the stars they had in this movie, she was by far the best.
No question.
Cindy Morgan was by far. The heck with Bill Murray, the heck with Chevy Chase. I don't want to hear about it. Lacey Underwall was my favorite in that movie.
Oh, now, what do you boys want from me today?
a great radio segment.
Yeah, nice interview. How's that?
Nice answer. You backed off really well. Okay, good.
Now,
how are you doing? Good to talk to you guys.
Thanks for being with us. Now, from Catholic school to Caddyshack.
Yep.
Now, was this a lifelong project, I take it?
Well, in truth, I started writing when I was like 4 years old. I always did. And then went through the parochial system and 12 years of Catholic school and into college and got into broadcasting. I was in broadcasting for 5 years before I became an actor. I was doing morning drive in Chicago, running my own board and turning on the tower at the Hancock Center.
Holy Now, did you work for WMAQ or WLS or which?
I worked for the Chess Checker record people, the Cadillac Records story that you heard. I worked for Phil Chess.
And this was kind of a great story. I'm sure it'll be in your book. You kind of got fed up with it and said, hey, I'll go to Hollywood and strike out on my own. And then all of a sudden here you are in a movie.
They wouldn't let me do commercials. They wouldn't let me on camera. They said, you're the radio person. You're the sound engineer. We're not going to let you on camera. And I said, well, the heck with you guys. I'm going to L.A. And I was so cocky in my early 20s. And they said, you'll never get a job. And I said, I'll have a billboard on Sunset in a year. I had one in 8 months. I was lucky.
Now, so what was your secret? How did you get your foot in the door?
I just didn't know any better. I think that's my secret. I didn't know enough to be intimidated. I just walked in and said, okay, you guys, what do you got? And they gave me this script. The first thing I did when I got out of my car was a commercial for Irish Spring. I was one of the Irish Spring girls, manly, yes, but I like it too, So that paid my bills while I was, auditioning. And I got the script for Caddyshack, and I was like, geez, I'm not this girl. But if I were, what would I do? We've all had that. I was fixed up for my proms in Catholic high school with Daniela Carzoli's cousin voice, So, but if we could really be this person, what would it be like? So this sort of just came out of my imagination. If I could be this superwoman, what would it be? It would be so cool. And for some strange reason, people believed that was me when I showed up on the set. So I said, okay, I'll play along, and it was great. It was just a lot of fun.
So just to backtrack just a second, you get off the plane at LAX or Burbank or whatever.
Driving. I drove.
Oh, you drove. Okay. So you pull in. You're on Interstate 405. You're on the San Diego Freeway. What is your first stop? What was the magnet for you? What got you to where you wanted to go?
Oakwood Garden Apartments was where I lived, and I had a few friends who had already moved to LA who were in Second City. When I was in radio, I got to know some of the Second City people who were just right down the street from me, and I knew some folks there. And I figured the worst case scenario, I'll do some commercials. At least I can do that. I know I can. Before I was in radio in Chicago, I worked. I did the weather very badly, by the way, in Rockford, Illinois, and in Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. So I knew I could do this. So I had no idea I'd start working. Just surprised. They said, "Where did you study acting in Chicago?" I said, "The Goodman." I don't know where the Goodman Theater is. I think it's by the Art Institute. But I said, "The Goodman Theater." They said, "Oh, that's a good school." I said, "Yeah, that's the one." So I don't know. Just got lucky.
Now, is that where Belushi got started?
Belushi, I think he was he Second City? I believe he was. He might have been SCTV out of Canada, too.
Okay.
But he and Harold hooked up, Harold Ramis, who was the director of Caddyshack, hooked up earlier. And they all worked on Animal House together.
So I'm interested in knowing the difference between Catholic school and Hollywood.
Not much. Well, there's a whole set of rules run by a lot of people who have their own opinions about certain things. And the thing about Hollywood, when I got there, I figured, everybody just got here, and nobody really knows what they're doing. And you know what? It's true. But if you show up and you show up on time, you know your lines, you're not a goofball, you'll do well.
I'm glad you mentioned that you'd read the script and you saw the character. Speaking of the script, what we saw in the movie, how much was script and how much was just guys at the top of their games, completely going improv?
Just off the top of my head, I'm thinking 50%. There was a structure. The original story was about the caddies, Danny Noonan, his family, him winning the caddy tournament. But Rodney Dangerfield originally had a cameo in the film, and he shows up on the set and starts bouncing off the walls, just bing, bing, bing. And Ted Knight's playing straight man to him, trying to do the script, which is damn near impossible. And it just took on a life of its own. When Chevy and I were working, for example, I saw Chevy on a talk show. Somebody sent me a YouTube clip. They asked him to play the song that he sang to Lacey Underwall, and he really didn't. He said, "You got to understand, I just made it up." He just made it up right then and there. I didn't even know we were shooting a scene at the time. That scene where he plays "I Was Born to Love You," that not only wasn't in the script, it wasn't rehearsed, it wasn't even discussed ahead of time. I was getting my makeup touched up, and Harold Ramis, the director, said, "Come over here and sit down." I said, "For what? What are you guys doing now?" He said, "Just sit down and tell Chevy to play you a love song." I said, all right, I'll go along with this. And Chevy snorts the salt and starts singing, and I look up, and the damn camera light's on. I went, "You son of a gun! This is going to be in the movie."
And you and Chevy were actually mad at each other when you were filming this.
Yeah. So there were interesting moments, but I'll tell you, it made for a better scene because great competitors. I mean, it would be a lot more interesting if there was a lot of chemistry going on. If we were just showing up and bored, it would have been a different scene. But the fact that we were competing, you better believe it. And when Chevy dumps that bottle of oil in my back, look at my eyes. I go, again, "You son of a gun." You're not blowing me off the screen. I'm staying right here.
This is a movie.